Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And now that Rimuru has released, we have the complete Tempest Elite meta. Trainee, Gobta, Benimaru, Shuna, and Rimuru himself. And we're going to test this team out by going into Inferno 3 of Tempered Edge, which is not a fun stage for a lot of people. And it's also doubly confusing because we have an AoE unit that's wind, we have a single target that's dark, and we have a single target fire character in a stage that has 3 enemies. So you have to play things a little bit strategically if you want them all to work out. So Trainee's got the fire follow-up attacks. The fire follow-up attacks will benefit with the burn damage that Rimuru can put on an enemy, and it will help just whittle them down. But ideally, to ensure that we get victory, we need 3 ults. We need EX ults for these two, and we need an ult for Benimaru. And that will be, I think, just enough damage to guarantee. We're bringing 2nd Anniversary Hinata for the all-element buff. And I think this is very important, because this is a buff that's stronger than the weak point damage or weakness strike that like Summer Shizu's bringing. And we need all the help that we can get with this team. So let's go ahead and try it out. Alright, so because I've been testing this Rimuru for the past 3 hours or so since I ended the stream, I know roughly the damage range that he can do on this team. So I need to play this in a very strategic manner. We need to lower down Milim as much as possible in 3 turns and then focus on Ranga. Because I know that Rimuru can one-shot Trya on turn 5. We do like 1.2 or something million damage if we have the full buffs on. And she only has 780k HP. Awesome. She also has guard for a lot of the fights, so attacking her is kind of pointless. These two do not. So I need Rimuru to single target wipe Trya, I need the AoE to do chip damage against everybody, and then I need the Benimaru ult to kill Ranga. That way, we can ensure that all of the follow-up attacks from those ults are then focused on Milim, who is the lowest HP of them all going into that nuke. But we do need luck to be with us a little bit, and by that I mean we need a lot of Benimaru orbs more than anything else. So let's bring Rimuru in, let's bring Shuna in. Hinata is really not going to contribute anything to this team apart from her element damage. And, you know, generally, that's not how I personally would like to build teams. I want to bring units that have, you know, skills that benefit the team on both sides, not just one skill. Because the orange orbs are nerfed in here. Her future hand of orange means nothing. That's not what I would call a super great hand. Okay. We do have a double stack of training, though, which is important. Because this means that Rimuru now has an EX ult. And then he can either stay, or he can just leave. Straight up get out. One of the two. But we need 5 uses of Trainee in 5 turns, which may be a little bit difficult to do. So let's do the full orb convert here. Boom. And now we're going to apply the burn and the extra weakness strike for these 3 guys. And this will just help whittle Milim down even more, especially since we have 4 Rimuru orbs. Perfect. So, boom, boom, those don't count, but these do. The Rimuru orbs do count for the burn, and then all the follow-up attacks, because they're fire element, will contribute to that total burn damage. And it does 51k. Alright, oh, okay, that's a lot of Benimaru orbs, actually. We will accept that. I can definitely work with that. I don't like how much they're hitting Shuna, though. It is what it is, though. So, let's get the Pierce buff on everybody. Boom. Now it's going to be up for the next 3 turns, so we'll be covered until turn 5. We'll bring Gobta in for Rimuru, and then we'll use the orb change again with Shuna. And then we'll use Trainee to give Shuna 1 EX bar. And then we just have to pray that we can this gets us close or enough. Okay, yeah, we are going to need 1 more Benimaru orb somewhere in this fight. So now that we've done about half damage to Milim, we're going to switch our focus now to Ranga and try and lower his HP down a little bit. and whittle him away. Because we're going to have the AoE ult hit Milim for about 200k. That'll do a decent amount of her HP bar. So we need to start lowering Ranga down so we can also whittle his HP down. But we don't have the burn anymore. We are still doing decent damage. Okay, we have one Benimaru orb. Not the greatest thing in the world. But this does ensure that things can work out. And the only thing now we need to worry about is, do we get an orb with Gapta on turn 5? Which, hoping we do. Very much hoping we do. We have to leave Shuna in, and we have to have an orb for Gapta, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to do this. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, we actually need a Benimaru ult, like, last turn. This is actually not the way I'd hoped it had gone. Because Benimaru needs to be the last unit to come in, because we would need, Hinata to be right here, which we can do, but it's gonna, obviously prevent us from getting a Benimaru ult. And then we would bring Rimuru in for Gapta, and then we'd have Shuna Gapta, and then Hinata would buff them, and then Hinata would leave for Benimaru, who has an ult. So, you know what, we're actually gonna have to reset and come back for that turn, because that's, I think, the only way that we can win. I think. I guess we can certainly try and do it this way. So okay, let's take Benimaru out. Fine. We'll just keep sending these orbs on Ranga and lowering him down. And now we just need a Gapta orb more than anything else. All right, cheeky counter. Will this be enough though? I have very serious doubts about this. All right, that's not great. All right, synergy is also not great. We do have a Gapta orb. Oh, please. Okay, yeah. We'll be back on turn 4. Okay, we made it work. What we had to do is on turn 2, I had to use the weakness strike, we had to use the full orb change with Shuna, and we had to use Benimaru's orb change because it has the 30% gauge increase, and that gave us enough to get Benimaru's ult. So now on turn 4, he's the lowest character. He needs to go, regardless, because otherwise he would die. And thankfully it worked out to where we can get him out, we can bring Hinata in, so boom, and then we could use the ult swap ability and then the full orb change one more time. And that gets us a full hand of blues. We have a lot of Gapta orbs, which is cool. Not really. But then we have this use of training, so that gives us the EX ult right there. And now we should be looking good, because we've got EX ult, normal ult, and that should be enough damage now. So let's go ahead and send this now on Ranga and get him a little lower. And Milim might even die from the AoE, so definitely what we're looking for. And now we just need to make sure Ranga can also die. Now the alternate way is I could send the single target on Traya and Milim, and then hopefully... No, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, we just need a Gapta orb right here, right now. Please give me a Gapta orb. Give me a Gapta orb. We have Gapta orbs. All right, perfect. Excellent. So we have a Hinata orb. Good, she can come out. And we have a Gapta orb. He can come out. So let's bring in Rimuru for Gapta. That way we can fully buff our 2 primary DPS units with the element buff. So now Rimuru's got fire. Shuna has wind. We're looking pretty good. And then we'll bring in Benimaru for Hinata, and then we've got 5 orbs here. But we have enough to use the physical resistance down, which we're going to put on Traya, because we need to make sure that she dies. Although I think we're going to kill her anyway. So actually, let's move that over to Ranga and make sure he dies. So boom. So now Milim, she has how much health? 232. I think Shuna with this with all these buffs, she does about 210, 212. So Milim will definitely die to either the AoE itself or the AoE follow-up. And then Rimuru should kill Traya here, which means that the AoE follow-up, the single target Beni ult, and then the follow-up from Rimuru and Benimaru might take out Ranga? We'll have to see. Also, we're going to send Shuna first because she does lower physical resistance, and that will just help us do more damage overall. So AoE, we'll send the Rimuru ult on Traya, and then we'll send everything else on Ranga, and hopefully we can take them out. Let's turn the ults on for this, and we should watch the Calamity. Alright, so Shuna. If she can do at least like 210, I will be happy, because that will guarantee that Milim will die, and that's probably the most important thing, is that making sure Milim actually does go away. And it'll do a lot of damage to Ranga as well. So Ogre Buster does 167. Okay, not as much as I was hoping for. Alright, that's unfortunate. Interesting. Why didn't you do more? Did we pierce or something on one of those? Maybe? Alright, how much does Rimuru do here? Should be around 1 million, give or take. Yeah, 1 million. Alright, so Traya is gone. Benimaru now should be ulting Ranga and lowering him down by, a bit. He's missing the element buff, but he still has the physical buff. He still has the pierce, and he still has... No, that's it, actually. He's not going to do too much. 113. Ooh, okay. I think we still win here. So the AoE, boom. Ah, that is not where I wanted that single target ult to go. Oh, look how close we were. I feel like I missed something. Shuna did not do nearly as much damage as I wanted her to. Because this'll... Oh. Are we alive? Oh, we are alive. Okay. Well, turn 6. I mean, we should win here, all things considered, right? Right? I mean, he has a nut tap of health. Yeah, he's at 8. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely win here. So, I mean, yes, we won. Was it the way I wanted it to? No. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to do it the way I wanted to. Okay, we've got an interesting scenario here where we were able to use Benimaru's Orb Change a couple of times, and now we've got an EX ult for Shuna, we've got an EX ult for Rimuru, we've got 3 orbs for Benimaru, and we have 1 more trainee, which means that instead of trying to fully buff up our Shuna AoE, we might actually be able to, double buff Benimaru's single target, and then we'll just have the chip damage from the AoE do a little bit extra, a little bit less in exchange for Benimaru doing a lot extra damage. So let's do that instead here. So we've already got the full hand of blue, we've used the orb change, we've used the alt swap, so we're good to go. And then we're going to take Shuna out of here, and then we're going to use this final trainee on, hopefully, Benimaru. Perfect. And now, with these 3 orbs, we're going to get his ult, and I think we'll be looking fairly good here, actually. Yeah, I mean, we've already used the Pierce buff, so everyone's got Pierce. I mean, I think this will work. Think being the key word, right? So we'll send this on Ranga now, lower him down a bit. Milim's already pretty well down. And now we're just going to bank on 2 single targets here. Alright. So we do have a Gobta Orb, perfect. As long as Benimaru doesn't die. Okay. Whew. Alright, so Gobta is coming out for Rimuru. And now we will fully buff our 2 single target units. Boom. With EX ults. And then we'll bring in Shuna. And then we'll use the physical buff and then the personal attack buff. Okay, so we've got, the follow-ups here. So now we have to flip around who we're going to target. So let's do the physical... let's do the attack buff first. Figure out what we're doing here. So Rimuru again will one-shot Traya. That's not a big deal. And then I think we send Benimaru onto Ranga and put the ult resistance down on Ranga. That way we can hopefully kill him between the AoE and the single target. And then it'll all go to Milim. That's what I'm hoping for. Alright, so the EX alt is not going to do nearly as much damage because Shuna's missing now the element buff. We'll send the Rimuru alt on Triad, and we'll send the Benimaru alt on Ranga, and then we'll follow up with the Shuna orbs, because that's all we got. We don't have any Rimurus. And I think the damage spread here now is able to kill everybody. So, 131k, alright, whatever. Rimuru, 1 million, cool. Triad's gone. Benimaru, 258. Not as strong as I wanted it to be. Okay, there's that. Millam's dead from that, and the Benimaru's follow-up, 8,000. There we go. Sorry, 80,000. Alright, so we cleared Inferno 3 in 5 turns with triple EX alts. I wouldn't say that's easy. From between the first clip and now, I think there's been about 10 resets to get this, so it's not efficient in any way. But it can work. It can work. It's not pretty, and you do have to play around and be mindful of who you're attacking leading up to this, and doing some not so complicated math thing in your head. But yes, the full meta team can clear Inferno 3. Congratulations. Even with a wonky fire unit who should have been AoE, but he's not. Man. If I were to grade this meta as a whole, as how well it works, not including the 5th unit, because there's no 5th unit here, what would I give it, a 5? Like, don't get me wrong. Rimuru in a vacuum is a good nuker, right? Put a bunch of support around him, he will do big daddy damage. Benimaru is a fantastic support for physical blue teams, and there's quite a few of those. Gopta is a very good free-to-play unit. With having an orb change and our first free-to-play alt swap. That's very good. You can't undersell that. Shuna, I think, is the weakest unit, but she's the AoE character. And, Pierce is not a super strong buff. Her orb change is limited to Tempest Elite. And while that is a big team, again, it only has these EX characters plus, Idol Shuna and Vengeance Shuna, and then a whole bunch of old units. So, her usefulness is wide-ranging, but still not super great. I honestly think that Trainee holds the team back. I just don't think this Trainee is good enough. Follow-up attacks are not what we're looking for in 2024. That was a halfway through 2023 meta, and that was already wonky to begin with the Goddess of Destiny team. I can't say Mirren's my favorite protector, and Trainee is just a little bit extra power creep on her, and some ways better and some ways worse. Because at least light element orbs, they're type neutral, right? You can't be type disadvantage against light when you're attacking somebody. So yeah, individually, Rimuru and Benimaru are good, and Gopta is good. Shuna's okay. Trainee is meh. But you put all that together and you get kind of just a meh team. But, those are my thoughts. What do you guys think of this meta as a whole? I'll start doing the tier list. I'll start thinking at least the tier list in the next week or so. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.